Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. On today, Oliver Newton returns with his typical and awesome Altergeist strategy with top 16 at YCS Utrecht, the first proper European YCS of the season, kicking things off with an old returning favourite, with some adjustments to account for the fact that the format has changed ever so slightly. So let's get into this list then. Typical 10 Altergeist monsters within the main deck. Triple Ash and double DD Crow alongside the 3 Imperms are the hand traps of choice here. He said he decided to go with these because they just provided the sort of best coverage of the available options. You know, if you are going to play DD Crow and Droll and Lockbird specifically in your main deck to try and beat like Spiral or something, then potentially they're not going to be so impactful against other matchups like Shaddoll. So these ones giving a lot more applicability within what was a very long event, many rounds you have to actually play over in order to make it deep into top cut as he did. For the spells, double duality and triple extravagance, this is the very typical lineup now, but something that's a little bit atypical is the lineup of Altergeist traps, which is 2 manifestation and 1 protocol. So we often see people playing 2 protocol, with the idea being that extra protection and the fact that you can stop monster effects by tributing off or sending to the graveyard your Altergeist card. That's really prioritized by a lot of players in recent formats. However, as we've moved into this current format, a lot of the monster effects that you would try and stop do very little actually, and people just have so many monster effects available that just stopping one of them generally isn't enough, and it's actually become preferable to play 2 manifestation instead. You do kind of want to play 3 traps because of how many that you're going to be pulling out the deck with Marionetta. And manifestation is obviously the only trap that actually allows you to recycle your resources. The interaction that this has with Silquatus makes it definitely worth playing the 2 copies of this one. For the remaining traps, we have 1 Imperial Order, the 3 Imperm I've mentioned already, triple personal spoofing, triple judgment, triple strike, 2 torrential tribute. Again, it's a format that is very heavily monster dominated, in the same way that your opponent is going to have a lot of monster effects that you don't necessarily want to stop all of them with a protocol. They are also going to be putting a lot of monsters onto the field, for which torrential tribute can be a real hindrance and stop them in their tracks. And this doesn't have the limitations that something like a Nibiru would have, in that you would be summoning a Nibiru and then not being able to use your multi-figure. And then 2 evenly matched in the main. That gives you, 5, 8, 10 going second, like proper going second cards. So really not too bad at all for going second with this list. For the extra deck, a triple Hextia, 1 Prime Banshee, 2 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 2 Linkuriboh, 2 Amirage. Plenty of targets for your extravagance with 4, I think is pretty reasonable. 1 Borreload, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Appaloosa, and 1 Ningirsu. For the side deck, the third evenly matched, triple Heavy Storm Duster. This is really important within certain matchups. Triple Different Dimension Ground. This is a great choice at the moment because so many decks are graveyard reliant, especially when you move into a format that has Shaddoll as one of its sort of key decks. So definitely a good choice with that one. There's 1 Mystic Mine. He's actually said he put this in because he had 14 cards in his side deck and he wasn't really sure what he wanted to play, so he just put mine in as the last card. 1 DD Crow to round off the triplet. Triple Droll and Lockbird for when you do go against things like Spiral, 2 Ghost Ogre, and 1 Dino Wrestler, Pancratops. So we've got some additional commentary from Ollie on this. He said that with DDG, if you open it and no judgments, you only have to set it and 1 back row, and then when your opponent goes to Lightning Storm, you chain the Different Dimension Ground. They really can't do much, as their turn basically ends for the majority of decks anyway, so it means that you can still play the game following on from that, which is really nice. He's not sure on what changes he would make for the list though. If we move on to the rounds that he played, he did have to play quite a lot of rounds to make it into top 16, so round 1 against Cyber Dragon, 2-0, round 2 against Shaddoll Invoked, a 2-0, round 3 against Spiral, a 2-1, round 4 against Moonlight, 2-0, Spiral in round 5 was a 2-1, round 6 against Mindburn was 2-0, round 7 against Spiral was 2-0, round 8 was his first loss against Spiral, and 2-1, well, 1-2 loss here, round 9 bringing it back against the Spiral again with a 2-1 here, round 10 against Salamangreat, this was a 2-1 victory, and then round 11 was against Salamangreat again, a loss this time against the player who ended up winning the event actually, And then finally for Swiss rounds, round 12 against Orcust, a 2-1 victory here. So managed to make it in with an X2 record into top 64. Very nice that they actually offered a top 64 cut at this event, because we have seen a lot of very similarly sized events only offering a top 32, and that really hinders, you know, people's ability to make it into top cut on the same scores. Like X2 should absolutely be making it in, so very, very good of Konami to do that for us here. For top 64, Ollie played against Salamangrate, a 2-0. Top 32 against Salamangrate again, a 1-0-1. So he won game 1, and game 2 was a draw, so he won overall. And then in top 16 he played against a Spiral, and lost this one 1-2 unfortunately, bricking on a hand of Silcatus, Meluseek, I think that's Conquery and Double Ash. Is that right? Is that double? Yeah. I mean, I guess you can normal summon Meluseek and like make Linkaribo. Yeah, it's just a pretty terrible hand. And definitely not something that can combat against like full power Spiral as we have it right now. So shoutouts from YuGiOh to Team Sneak Attack and Ultra Pro. Check them out, they've got all sorts going. So Ultra Pro, obviously key providers of sleeves and all sorts of paraphernalia for your YuGiOh playing. And also Team Sneak Attack, Team Sneak, check them out on Facebook. The Team Sneak locals are a great opportunity to play some card games midweek if you're around London. Thanks very much for watching this video. Thanks very much to Ollie for coming on. And a quick word from him. He said also, it's probably worth mentioning that shortly before YCS Utrecht began, there was a side event in which he lost to Domain Monarch. So, come on guys, Domain Monarch is the new meta-defining deck. Time to break out those Erebuses. I'll see you guys in the next video.